Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Build with AI Regional Ambassador Talks, where we interview some of the most innovative ambassadors from across the globe about their stories, their projects, and their thought leadership. Today, we have Negin Valizadegan, who is our regional ambassador from the United States of America. She will be talking about how she transitioned from a non-technical biology background into winning her very first hackathon. Welcome, Negin. Thanks for coming online.
Thanks, Jensen. Sure. Thanks for inviting me.
Great. I think we'll just kick off the questions for the audience. So the first question I'd like to ask you is, could you give us a little bit background of yourself and what you currently do?
Sure. I'm a PhD candidate in biological anthropology in Brinkworth Lab at the University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign.
Great. Can you tell us what your current research is about?
I study our body's reaction to dangerous microbes, and specifically how thousands of years of human evolution with microorganisms around us have affected our body's response to these and other microbes. Why are some monkeys, for example, more resistant to specific diseases than humans, even though we are very closely related to them? All of us have observed how COVID-19 can affect individuals differently depending on their immune system, right? I study such variations in immune responses, but between humans and closely related animals.
That sounds fascinating. So how did you get familiar with hackathons? Is your research related to any of this?
Yes and no. So when I started my PhD education, my advisor made me aware that I had to start learning a programming language called R to be able to run data analysis of next generation sequencing data, which is a specific type of data related to the field of genomics. In my current lab, we deal with how infectious microbes affect our immune system, and we do this by studying all the genes or their products in various species and populations.
Wow. So you basically started from learning a programming language that was required for analysis of this data and the experiments that you're doing. And this was mostly collected in the lab through running biological experiments.
Exactly, that's right. And then that led me to learn more and more data analysis tools and techniques and learn other programming tools such as Unix, Python, etc. And I took like stats classes, all sorts of relevant programming and data analysis workshops that were offered on our campus, and that helped me a lot. It took me a few years to get more and more comfortable with these concepts and tools, but I got from a point where I was reluctant to the idea of coding and data analysis and statistics because I didn't have a lot of exposure to it, to the point that I've refocused my project to be able to get more involved with this side rather than the experimental aspect of it. And my advisor was actually very helpful with this transition.
That's a great story. I love how data science can be used in so many different fields, and you found two of the most interesting ones, in my personal opinion.
Thanks.
So from this kind of track, this kind of rail trajectory, how did you get to know about Hackmakers and the hackathons that we run?
That's a very good question. So, as part of my journey to increase my bioinformatics skill set, I took an internship with our bioinformatics core at the University of Illinois in the summer of 2019. There, I got exposed to the idea of hackathons and found it very interesting and wanted to attend one since. Then one of my colleagues shared Steve Nuri's post about the World Innovation Day hackathon on LinkedIn, and I immediately got interested and looked through the event website and was contemplating whether I should participate. I was, more basically like a bit unsure about whether I would have the necessary skills to compete along with many experienced data scientists who, come from a technical background and are, usually participate in these events. But later, I saw a note from the Hackmakers on their website saying that anyone from any background can participate, and you didn't actually even know basically needed to know how to code, and that gave me more confidence to sign up for the event, and so I did.
And that was the beginning of an amazing achievement that you first attained. and hopefully is the first hallmark of a number of great achievements to follow. Because I understand that your team won third place in the hackathon in May 2021. Is this correct?
That's right. And I didn't know anyone in the participant pool, but in that short amount of time that we had, basically it was like only a few days, we were able to form a team, come up with an idea, implement and present it, and win third place among more than 4,000 participants. It was such a wonderful experience for me. Not only it was a very positive first hackathon experience, but I also got exposure to new areas of technology and business and made new connections and friends with some of whom I'm still in contact.
That's also a great story. Being able to achieve something in such a short amount of time is not something that anyone has able to do, but anyone definitely through your personal anecdotes has the capacity to do if they really put themselves up for it. So for this hackathon, you represented the United States of America as one of our regional ambassadors for the Build with AI Hack 2021. This is quite an exclusive amount of people that we've selected, but out of the 200 people that decided to apply, what made you want to apply for this position?
That's a good question. So, the experiences that I had through participating in the World Innovation Day hackathon was positive, right? It was a fulfilling and then positive experience for me. And so I wanted to spread the word and help others experience some of what I did during my first hackathon. So that was why I decided to apply for this position. And um, it was a great opportunity and great basically experience for me. Yeah, it was great.
Great. I'm really glad that you had a good experience. We're going to try to make the experience even better for the events that we come on for the future. So we definitely hope to have you back on board if you have the time. Then
Yeah, sure.
one of our last questions we'd like to ask is, do you have any suggestions for those who come from non-technical backgrounds who are interested in getting exposure to technical aspects of their field?
Sure. I would say don't be afraid of being trained and getting exposed to these concepts. Technology is now everywhere around us, and no matter from what background you are, it is very probable that at some point in your career or in your life, you have to deal with this with the technological aspect of your field, right? And hackathons are one of the best ways to get exposure to all various elements of learning how the technology and business world basically works. And as a person who spent my whole life in academia, I can say that it is not very common for people from non technical fields to get trainings related to anything that happens outside academia and to prepare them for non academic jobs. And this is something that is turning into a necessity these days because like getting these trainings basically because there are not so many academic positions available as before. And one main reason is because we have more and more people who are going through higher education and get a PhD, which is great, but then we don't have that many open academic positions, right? So to those who are researchers, graduate students, faculty, anyone from the academic world, hackathons are kind of like conferences that you're probably familiar with. You won't be an expert in all the things you get exposure to in one hackathon, as in like one conference, right? But it does make you familiar with a lot of relevant expertise and concepts and helps you understand if this is something that you would like to pursue or simply what aspects of it you might or might not want to include in your career trajectory.
That's some really, really useful advice, especially for those in the audience who are in that academic field. Stepping outside of that is maybe a bit scary, but it's something that you need to do, especially as the world slowly moves in this direction.
That's right.
So, yeah. Do you have any final comments before we conclude this interview?
One thing that I would like to mention is that since everything happens in the context of a team of skilled individuals and mentors who are available in hackathons, anyone from any background can participate and contribute their own set of skills, right? And it doesn't have to be only coding. These events are good opportunities to add to your skill set because you tend to learn a lot in a short amount of time, right? And in the end, you have nothing to lose and most probably have something or so much to gain from participating in one. So I would suggest you take a step and just go for it.
That's some really great parting words that you can share with everyone. This has been a great interview. Unfortunately, we've come to the end of it. This is all that we have time for. But I really do want to thank you, Negin, for sharing your thoughts and your expertise to the audience. It's something that I personally found quite inspiring. I've heard this quite a number of times because we've done some repeats and rehearsals. But it's something that I hope will stay kind of in the back of everyone's mind, regardless of what field that they're in, that they can learn and upskill, they can change their trajectory into something that the modern world could really fit for them. So that's everything. Yeah. Great. Thanks for joining us, Negin. I hope you have a
Thanks for
great day.
having me. You have a great day too. Thanks. Bye.
Take care. Bye bye.